Hello and welcome to Auto Today. My name is Dipayan and you're joining me today in Bangalore to check out a very exciting new electric motorcycle that's supposed to change the tide of electric vehicles in India and especially electric two-wheelers. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Ultraviolette F77. This particular variant is the Recon. I'll tell you why that's special in a little bit. But before we jump into our video, if you aren't already subscribed to the Auto Today channel, this is your chance to do that now. And don't forget that if you like this video, smash that like button because it means oh so much to us. Now, if the name has not already given it away, this motorcycle, the F77, is inspired by fighter jets, and that's where a lot of this bodywork and all gets its inspiration from. But taking a closer look at the front, of course, you get 17-inch alloy wheels, a 320mm single disc, and behind these shrouds are in fact a 41mm USD forks that are adjustable for preload, which is really cool, but that is only on this Recon variant. You also get an LED headlamp up front with the F77 inscribed on the body of the headlamp, which is another really cool addition, and that pretty much sets the tone for this motorcycle going forward. Now, of course, underneath all this bodywork is this bike's main attraction, and that is the 10.7 kilowatt-hour battery that gives you a range of 307 kilometers in the IDC cycle, and that's something that really makes this bike exceptional in terms of what it offers in terms of range. Now, the 10.7 kilowatt-hour battery is very heavy, and that's why it sits at the center and weighs about 70 kilos. But Ultraviolette have taken their time in getting the technology right and getting to ensure that the battery doesn't overheat under Indian conditions, even when you're riding it hard, and that I think is an exceptional thing from the company, and it's why we can understand that the company took 6 years from the time that we first saw the F77 in concept form to today, where we have this absolutely production ready variant with very little to report in terms of flaws, and I think that is what makes the Ultraviolette so exceptional. Now, in keeping with the very aerodynamic theme of this motorcycle, the rear end is very minimal so that it cuts through the air. The end of the teardrop has been maintained. But what is really special to me, especially when it comes to the F77, is this box section swing arm that the company have put in several hundred man-hours to create to ensure that the motorcycle has the ideal rigidity in a corner, and that's what I like to see from a new motorcycle manufacturer, a dedication to doing things better. And I think that has been the theme with this Ultraviolette throughout this ride, and I think this is what sets this company apart when it comes to other electric vehicles that we've tested so far. Of course, you also get another 17-inch tire at the back. Of course, this is a chonky 150 section tire and a 230mm disc. In my opinion, after having spent some time in the saddle, the bike could have used a bigger set of brakes, especially at the front, where a twin set would have been appreciated. But that said, the company does have several levels of regen that it will offer in the future, and 3 that it offers now to make up for it as of now. In 2019, Ultraviolette showcased an almost production-ready prototype with 3 swappable batteries of the F77 with about 200 kilometers of range. Between now and then, though, the brand decided that maybe that wasn't going to be enough and scrapped the idea entirely and went back to the drawing board. Come 2023, and the production-ready F77 is here, and that rebuild? Well, ground up is putting it softly. There's a new battery pack that adds 50 kgs to the 2019 prototype that in turn required an entire rebuild of the chassis. But the reality of it is that the F77 now weighs 206 kgs at par with the likes of the Royal Enfield Interceptor. Now this is something you do feel when you have to move the bike around in parkings and tight spots. Thankfully, the F77 gets a reverse assist, and although I've not been a fan of the function on scooters, on the F77 it makes a significant difference. The weight is something you are only likely to feel at standstill. On the move, the motorcycle makes light work of handling its mass. The rider's triangle is forward set, but not to an angle that would get uncomfortable on long rides. What does seem to be a special cause of concern for those eyeing long rides on the F77 is the firm, almost race-ready seat and the firm set springs. That said, both the front and rear springs can be adjusted for preload on this range-topping Recon variant, which means that there is some scope for adjustment. Hopefully, the brand will also incorporate a more pliant touring seat in their range of accessories. All accounted for, the F77 loves the twisties and converts rider inputs into crisp direction change even when the corners are back to back. This is down to the strength of the chassis underneath you and is telling of how fundamentally sorted the F77 really is. The only downside is the single 320mm disc up front that seems to fade under constant heavy braking and struggles to hold the F77 back. The 3 regen modes on board aren't enough to simulate the roll-off of an ICE either, but we are told the brand is testing as many as 10 more regen settings for the F77 that can be added via an OTA update in the future. F77 will be sold in 2 main variants, since the limited edition, which was set for 77 units, is already all sold out. The remaining 2 are the Standard and the Recon. Our test focused on the Recon, which gets the full fat 10.3 kWh battery as opposed to the 7.1 kWh battery on the Standard variant. Now this means that you get an IDC range of 307 km as opposed to the 206 offered on the Standard. Now there is a marginal difference in power and torque outputs too, but since our test focused on the Recon, that's where our focus will lie, which means that you get 38.9 bhp and 95 Nm of torque, which is good for a 3.1 second 0 to 60 run and a 100 kmph run in 8 seconds dead. This allows you to go all the way to 147 km per hour pretty quickly, which is more than impressive. In addition, the F77 gets 3 riding modes: Glide, Compact and Ballistic. Glide is the most subdued version that is likely to maximize the range available, but also limits the output and the top speed to 70 kmph. Honestly, this is the bike best enjoyed in Ballistic or Combat and is well worth the total loss of range, especially if your ride is mostly within city limits. Charging your F77 can be done in 10 hours via a standard 15 amp plug, or if you spring another 25,000 rupees for the fast charger, you can juice your motorcycle to full in about 3.5 hours. Now at 4.55 lakhs ex-showroom, the F77 is far from cheap, but what you get for that money is the years of time that this company has put in into getting this motorcycle perfect. I'm sure they could have done what the rest of the market has been doing and rushed out a product, but they've really taken their time, and that shows with the F77. And it gives me confidence that Ultraviolette really care about the product that they're launching, and it makes me feel like that 4.5 lakhs that they want for this motorcycle ex-showroom is really worth it. In terms of a motorcycle on its own right, this does have a lot to offer in terms of performance as well as dynamic ability, and I think that also makes it very special. Once you add in the fact that you get 307 kilometers of range IDC on this Recon variant, it becomes a motorcycle that you almost want to tour on, and that is something that I could never have imagined saying about an electric two-wheeler. And on that absolute bombshell, it's time to end our video. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. This is Didi signing off.